that happen when like defenders.
I think it's like
people deluded. I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Bro. Come on.
As the big man and the legend, the Arsenal legend just said there, Ian Wright, people deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, of course, good night, depending on where you are in this earth. Make sure you're commenting, you're smashing the like button, and you're doing all of those good things, people. Let's crack on with what we've got to speak about today. Arsenal scout Romain Perotti. Sounds like a French name, so forgive me for mispronunciation. Watch Fenerbahce defender Ferdi Kadioglu against Trabzonspor on Saturday and gave the player a positive report. Now, many people are going to see that and say, Arsenal scouting a player, we're going to buy him. Oh my God. And there is an element of truth. You know, you scout a player, you see the good games he has, the bad games he has, you watch him for a prolonged period, you judge if he's good enough to sign for the club, you know, and what his strengths and his weaknesses are. You see his level and things like that. So I get it, people. And obviously, Arsenal need a defender. We could do with another defensive body. Don't get it twisted. I believe the immediate priority for January and definitely coming out of next summer of 2024 with some real confidence, it has to be central midfield. I'd love a striker. I'd love a right winger. I would love a kind of defender indirectly like Zinchenko and Benjamin White, but I'd say more so Timber and Tomiyasu in that them three can play. Well, the last two names I said, they can play all across the back four or whatever you want to do on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, and centre half. Now, scouting must mean there's an element, but again, everybody's scouting everyone. We could be scouting many players or many defenders and seeing if they fit the DNA of what Mikel Arteta wants and stuff like that. So scouting doesn't always necessarily mean you're looking for players. It could just be staying up to date. We could have been going to watch another guy that's playing for Fenerbahce or, you know, what playing for the other team, and this report has got it wrong. But you can see why Mikel Arteta would want a defender. I must admit, again, if and when everybody's fit is a completely different conversation. But when everyone's fit, I always thought we could do with another defender, another centre half, in my opinion. Obviously, you got Kyrgios as well, throw him in there as well. But with the games and, you know, Benjamin White and Saliba having to play even a couple of cup games that you'd like to rest them, with the games coming thick and fast and are still being in 3 of the 4 competitions. You know, we went out of the League Cup last week. You know, I do think we could do with another defensive body. I do kind of buy into the links where we see us with fullbacks. You know, some are more, you know, realistic than others. We have been linked with a couple of big ticket centre halves, Diamande of Sporting Lisbon, who we wanted before he moved over there, and his price tag has shot up. Mark Gurhey for 50-odd million. And I do believe in an ideal world, people, if we could grab, for me, a striker, a right winger, or let's just say winger, because if you could play on the left and the right better than what we have, a striker better than what we've got, or different strengths, a winger, 2 central midfielders, for me, another 6 and another 8, maybe a defensive body, I think we'd really be moving in the right direction, people. Again, don't have an informed opinion on this lad. Can't really tell you an informed opinion and how good he is and all those sort of things there, people. I have watched my fair share of Fenerbahce games when Arda Güler was there, but I can't sit here and say that, you know, this done grabbed my attention. But, you know, I'm sure the Arsenal scouts have an informed opinion, but nonetheless, that's that, people. Apparently, you know, Arsenal's first team scout was recently in attendance in the game we just spoken about. According to a journalist, they actually believe Arsenal could be set to move for the player. Apparently, this individual is considered one of the rising young stars in Turkish football, having established himself as first choice right back for Fenerbahce over the last couple of seasons. Capable of playing on either side of the pitch, the fullback is a useful asset and has been earning attention from several sides in Europe. So young, fits our remit, can play on the left and right hand side after what I was waffling about. I'm listening, if I'm honest with you. Apparently, Arsenal appear to be one of the clubs keen on, you know, on seeing this individual. Apparently, we picked the wrong game to attend, people, because he didn't have the best of games, but apparently a positive report was sent. He's tied down till 2026, so Fenerbahce have no real need to sell him, really. His price tag, I don't know, people, but we've been linked with him. That's where that's concerned. Zubiamendi, 1 minute, it's Man United, then Barcelona, then Arsenal once again. He's been linked with Bayern Munich, which could indirectly have something from Arsenal. You've seen reports that Arteta wants to spin the block and circle back for Zubiamendi. You know, we were linked with him last January. A year can change things, but would he want to leave his boyhood club mid-season? That was the whole rhetoric around not leaving last January. And for all the talk about moving in the summer, for one reason or another, for all the Xavi links to Barcelona and all the links to Arsenal, for one reason or another, he did not depart the football club. But obviously, Bayern Munich have been looking for a defensive midfielder or a number 6, really and truly. They were linked with Paulinho of Fulham. They didn't get that one over the line. I don't know if they'll revisit that in January. But apparently, Martin Zubiamendi is currently being discussed at Bayern Munich. The club scouts have recently watched him closely and have gave positive feedback. And there is some rumors, but Bayern Munich could lose Kimmich, so maybe they need another body. A move for the Spaniard, however, is not concrete yet. No talks have taken place with Zubamendi's management or Sociedad. The midfielder has a £60 million release clause, but his club is hoping he'll stay at least until the end of the season. So there you have it. And they're in the Champions League and doing whatever they're trying to do domestically. I can't see them wanting to part ways already. There could be a twist where Andre Fluminense is concerned. Historically linked with Liverpool, I still think he'll sign for Liverpool. Some reports say Fulham are the front runners, and Arsenal have also been linked, and now Napoli. According to reports, Liverpool have moved on from the Fluminense midfielder Andre Trenande, who is also being linked with Arsenal and Fulham. Apparently, in the recent Copa Libertadores game, scouts from Arsenal and several clubs were there. Liverpool have been recently heavily linked with him in recent months. He's expected to leave in January after helping his team win the trophy. I said he played a key role in the tournament and for his club and has been called up to Brazil, people. The Brazil squad. Liverpool need a 6. Maybe they've shifted focus in that regards, people. Allegedly, this journalist has said Napoli will be active in the January transfer market. They're following the Brazilian midfielder Andre from Fluminense. He's born in 2001. He costs around 15 million euros. The price has dropped, or maybe there's an English club tax versus other foreign clubs. He's a midfielder who can also be a tackler as well as a playmaker. It could be a good replacement. Romano thinks that it actually would cost 35 to 40 million euros. He remains on Liverpool's list, says Romano. However, it sounds like other clubs are also right in the mix too. But from what I'm hearing, it's not only Liverpool. There are more clubs from Europe trying to understand the conditions of the deal, and that's what Fluminense would be open to accepting in January. I think in the next few weeks, the situation could become more clear because discussions can then take place to understand the final price, the intention of the player, but Liverpool are still interested. Let's see if they spend money, because I think it'll be 35 to 40 million euros, so 30 to 35 million pounds, but he remains appreciated by those at Liverpool, people. Apparently, Fulham have been reported as the front runners, but sources have told us that no proposals have been sent to Fluminense so far, withstanding the ones that were made over the summer. The club are now looking for around 30 to 40 million euros to sell the 22-year-old. It's been stressed too that the January market is still a couple of months away, and it could be that more names come to the table for the youngster's signature, people. So he has been linked with Arsenal. That's where we're at for him. We're doing a watch along, people. At the time of making this, join me at 7 p.m. We're watching Arsenal against Sevilla. Eddie Nketiah has been carrying a knock, people. He faces a late fitness test for that Sevilla game. Gabriel Jesus is out. Martin Odegaard is out, and obviously the Norwegian boss that manages Odegaard at that level, at international level, doesn't seem too optimistic. Obviously, we know Partey and Timber and Smith Rowe are now also absentees, and there's probably a couple of players I'm missing. We know Saka's been playing with a knock as well. We actually know Declan Rice has been playing with a knock. We can't afford any more injuries, especially heading into the international break. I wonder if Eddie Nketiah will get another England call-up. Hopefully, he's able to play. Apparently, there are concerns the Gunners could be light in attack on Wednesday night tonight with Jesus already out, Martin Odegaard already out. That's a spanner in the works, because not only do they help us offensively, but defensively with the press that they lead for us in the front line, people. Chelsea leapfrog Arsenal in Ivan Toney race. Gunners doubts over January deal revealed. Team talk can reveal that Arsenal would prefer to sign Ivan Toney next summer rather than January, which comes as a boost for Chelsea in the race for his signature. David Ornstein didn't pour cold water on Ivan Toney to Chelsea, but kind of said they're targeting better players, better strikers. So who knows? They might spin the block. We know Arsenal have been linked with him. We know it, every report, 1 minute we're going for him, then we're not. We know there's question marks over Eddie Nketiah and Gabriel Jesus' ability to really lead the line for the football club. And we all know that Ivan Toney's been linked with a move away for 80 to 100 million. So I don't think rumours will go away with that. I don't think Arsenal are going to spend what Brentford want in January. I think Brentford would be a lot more open to negotiations with Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea, whoever's linked with him in the summer. I think they want to keep him, really. And to be honest, for the money, even 65 to 100 million, let's just say 65 million, that's a lot of money for a player who I believe is quality, gives a lot to the squad, but hasn't played for a number of months now, regardless of him being in training now and behind closed doors friendly. So would he make an instant impact? And obviously he's going to be on good wages, being a household name in the Premier League, and obviously being called up to the England squad and being one of the you know, you look around the world, I'm sure there's strikers with a lesser profile, but, you know, definitely in my 28 years, the last couple of years, there's been a really shortage of strikers of all sorts of levels, man. It feels like back in the days in Premier League, not to be a nostalgia merchant, there were guys that were playing for teams that fight relegation, trying to get mid-table, trying to win leagues, trying to qualify for the Champions League, but there was bagsmen at all levels. Doesn't feel like that. Maybe the system, maybe it's a cycle thing, because I do think we live in a day and age of, you know, individuals will always shine, individuals always make the system, but football is all about systems now. And, you know, you could be a striker that playmates a lot of the time and you do a lot of good things like Jesus, but you don't get that strong catalogue of goals. So naturally, people have pessimism as for all your ability as to whether you could lead the line. You could be a man that scores 20, 30 goals in the league. People say, but he's only got 3 assists. And stuff like that. I think it's kind of the same rhetoric that sees goalkeepers have to be good at their feet more. So really, without people talking about their hands, the first thing we say about defenders is their ball playing ability. And naturally, there's still playmakers out there, but the traditional 10 role has been left, people. So I don't know, people, but I can't say that surprises me. Apparently, Thomas, I mean, if we don't sign anyone, you can't go Partey. And to be fair, you're not fit. Thomas Partey has told Arsenal he wants to leave the club in January amid Juventus interest, but the Ghana international will hold out for more options in England and Spain. Is anyone going to move for you in January? Surely, if that's the case, you wait until the summer where you have a year on your Arsenal deal, where I'm sure if Arsenal are able to find someone that's fit up more, you know, got more confidence around his fitness and able to impact us in the way of Declan Rice, I do think they'll be open to letting Partey go. I think you look at the money we've spent, you look at the unanswered questions, you know, there'll probably be a couple of players that depart the club. You know, Jorginho, will we extend his deal? El Nene, will we extend his deal? What's going to happen with Emil Smith-Rowe and Ramsdale? 2 players that could probably bring some money into the club. Thomas Partey is a chance for us to really, you know, at the wrong side of 30 to move on from Thomas Partey, even though I feel I would love to sign someone that is the Partey replacement, but still have him in the squad. And he's on big wages, whether we agree with it or not. Declan Rice, Kai Havertz have come in for decent money and are on decent wages. Martinelli, Odegaard, Ramsdale, Benjamin White talks, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Saliba, they've all signed new deals. So it's a chance to kind of shed our wage bill. And who knows, next summer, you'd imagine we bring in a winger and a striker and a centre mid. And at least one of the 3 you'd imagine would be a relative household name, big money addition, or kind of one of those things, people. But he's reportedly told Arsenal he wants to leave in January amid interest from Juventus. I mean, and yes, Juventus are going to make a permanent offer. Forget about it. Every minute he's linked with Juventus, then he's linked with a move to Saudi Arabia. It's quite interesting to see him linked potentially with England and Spain. I do doubt Tuto Meccano people's reporting and credibility in that he's informed Arsenal he wants to leave in January. I don't think it's that deep, but I do think Partey has his eyes open to maybe moving and leaving the club at some point, and Arsenal the same. And it'll be keen to see if and when they make a decision over extending his contract, if they haven't already, people. He's contracted until 2025. You'd imagine with all the new deals we've given people, especially the ones that were up in 2024, that we've discussed Partey. And if we haven't, then it is what it is. I think it follows the same Granit Xhaka rhetoric in that there was rumours, there was talk of him signing an extension or new deal. It then came out with the Ornsteins and co of this world that there was never the offer of that. And last season was probably, obviously it went well for Arsenal to a point and Granit, but at the start of that season, it was always going to end that way, regardless of what happened, people. I mean, Partey's never fit. He's we're at a transitional stage. Midfield is delicate. You know, he's not been starting as many games as he would have liked to. And to be honest, it is a bit bewildering that he seems to always pick up knocks in training and stuff like that. And I just think he's one that you're never confident he's going to be fit for the duration of a season. Although he did make 40 appearances, I believe, in the Premier League last year and played 40 appearances in all comps, and 33 in the league. So I very much doubt it. Doesn't make sense to let anybody go in January, really and truly. You know, anytime Mikel Arteta has been asked, he's bigged him up, really. I don't know what's happened with Partey and his fitness, because he missed just 7 games in 5 years at Atletico Madrid. And when you think of Thomas Partey at Arsenal, you think of injuries since him joining in August of 2020. So we'll have to see, people. Let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed. Partey, Zubiamendi, the Fenerbahce lad, Ivan Toney. Would you move for Ivan Toney? Wouldn't you? You know, make sure you join me for Arsenal Sevilla watch along. Stay safe, stay blessed. Make sure you check out the rest of the content. Peace.
There's always just that active red flag, defending.
I think it's like